IVM.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Positively Unlimited podcast. Today's episode, I'm talking about living our potential. What does that sentence even mean? Well, I look at it a little bit like the fuel tank of a car. You know, when it's full up, it can take you up to a certain distance. When your fuel tank is down to half, you go up to a certain distance. And when that sign starts flickering on the dashboard and you know that you are running on reserve fuel, then you know that you can't get very far. Well, you know, my reason for doing today's episode is because I've realized that a lot of us define our potential incorrectly. Now, what do I mean by this? For a moment, just imagine that you have a box of potential, right? Forget about the size and dimensions of this box. It's a box. Inside this box, you have 4 slots or 4 other boxes. One box is your physical self, the physical potential that you have, whether it's stamina, whether it's strength, whether it's, you know, even with differently abled people. Physically, what is your potential? So recognizing that and understanding that that's one box. The second box within this box of potential is the emotional self. And understanding that what rests within that box is the emotional energy that you hold. The third box is your intellectual self, hence the mental energy that you hold. And the fourth box is the spiritual self, hence the energy of belief that you hold. So if every morning you wake up and this box is refueled, take a few moments to ask yourself, because every day it will be a different combination. Ask yourself, how much of fuel do I have in each of those 4 boxes that are inside this big box? So how much of physical energy do I have today? Have you woken up tired? Are you well rested? Have you woken up in pain for some reason? Right? So how much physical energy you have? Then think about how much emotional energy you have, which is, in what kind of a mood have I woken up? Am I feeling happy? Am I feeling cranky? Am I feeling grumpy? Then ask yourself, mentally, intellectually, what am I feeling like? Am I feeling exhausted? Am I feeling drained? Am I feeling like there's too much happening in life? What is the energy you have in that box? And spiritually, where do you stand on that particular day? Are you feeling strong in whatever faith you have? Is your faith feeling kind of shaken up because of things that have happened in the previous days or weeks? What are you going through? Now, when you take stock of these 4 aspects on a daily basis, you know how much fuel you have. And then you can plan your day out based on that fuel. So if on a day you know that you have, you've woken up feeling rested and physically really all there, then I'd say get out there and get all the hard work done. If on a day you are feeling happy and elated and emotionally you are on a high, once again, use that fuel along with the others to get through your day in a good way. So you want to understand that if you have these 4 aspects and 4 types of fuel that sit inside that one box, how are you using it every day? Now here's what most of us do. Most of us don't even know how much fuel we have on a daily basis. Forget about knowing what kind of fuel we have. So I'm bringing you into a state of awareness. If you're listening to this on a Monday, grab that pen and paper and write down in 4 different columns: physical self, emotional self, mental self, spiritual self, and put down how much fuel you have in under it. Now, how do you put this down? Well, it can be in the form of percentage. It can be in the form of, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, 1 being the lowest. Now, you want to understand one thing. As you are putting it down, you might realize that all 4 boxes don't add up to 100%. Individually, in each one of them, you have 100% fuel, the ability to have. But on some days, you're 20 somewhere and 30 somewhere and 40 somewhere and 50 somewhere else. And when you do the math, you'll realize that you don't really have 100% fuel. And on some days, you'll do the math and you'll realize that you're in such a great state that you have 300% energy and 300% fuel. So you want to look at this on a daily basis. Just take stock of it. Now, this is about living your potential on a daily basis and understanding what kind of potential you hold, what kind of fuel you have. Let's look at it slightly from a larger perspective. So, the potential to do the things you want to do in your life. Now, the very first thing for this is to understand what do you want to do in your life, right? And again, I'm saying this, that even if you are physically, emotionally, intellectually, or spiritually differently abled or going through some kind of crisis or trauma, the first step is to have clarity about what you want to experience. What do you want your life to be about? A simple exercise for this is what I have described in episode 1 of the Positively Unlimited podcast, A for Align. Use the exercise there just to put your desires down on paper. Once you have done that, ask yourself, what kind of combination of fuel do you need to achieve that life? It's not necessary that to live the life you want to live, you will need 100% of physical, emotional, intellectual, and spiritual energy. You might realize that for the kind of life that you want to live, you actually need 30% physical energy, 70% emotional energy, 50% mental or intellectual energy, and 100% spiritual energy. Literally, you might come up with numbers like that, right? So you want to understand what is the combination of physical, emotional, intellectual, and spiritual self that you need to be able to live the life that you want to live. When you have that down, then you want to ask yourself a not so nice question. How much of my potential, daily potential, am I actually putting towards this life that I want to live? You know, a lot of times when you sit down to answer that question, you'll realize that you want to live an X life, but you've been putting all your energy in a Y direction. And by Y, I don't just mean the alphabet Y, but also the question, why is this happening to me? Why am I stuck here? Why are things not moving for me? It's that why. So you want to look at your box of potential every day. You want to have your desires clearly put down, and you want to look at how much of your potential you will need to pull out to live that life that you want to live. Living your potential is about taking action towards that which you desire, right? And that which you believe in. Now, what do I mean by the second piece, which is that which you believe in? You know the phrase that we have going around, right? Find your purpose, live your passion. Well, finding your purpose and living your passion, well, that's actually the potential that we all hold. We are all completely capable of living a purpose-driven, passionate life. However, a lot of us don't define these words correctly, and a lot of us hence don't end up tapping into our own potential. There are also a lot of us who don't really want to go down this path and don't want to live a life where they are consciously seeking their purpose or their passion. For them, life is simple and they want to live in simplistic terms, and that's fine. And you may realize that that person is using a lot less of his or her potential than they can. So give this a little thought. Think about, what is your potential? You know, a simple question to answer when you're thinking about what is your potential or how can you live your potential is to ask yourself, what all am I capable of? That's what you want to think about. Living your potential is understanding exactly what all you are capable of doing, achieving, living in one lifetime. So on that note, I'm going to sign off today, and I'm going to wait for some of you at least. I'd love to have all of you all actually send me the answers to the questions that I asked in this episode on Instagram. My handle is Positivity Angel. DM me and let me know what your answers are. Also, for that episode 1, you simply have to go to the IVM website or download the IVM app. All previous episodes are on their website and app. Also, I would like to let all of you who are listening in know that I was recently featured in the Empowering series hosted by Zarina Poonawala, which is another podcast in the IVM portfolio. And we've had a really exciting conversation about healing, coaching, values, and how much time you should actually take when you have a heartbreak. So tune into that. Make sure you go and look for it as well.
How many times have you motivated yourself to improve your sleep or lose weight or be more productive? How many times have you failed? Hi, my name is Ashton Doctor. Tune into my show, The Habit Coach Podcast, where we focus on creating small, tiny habits to improve your life instead of those big, impossible tasks. So make listening to me a habit every Monday, Wednesday and Friday on the IVM Podcast app or ivmpodcast.com or on your favorite podcasting app.
Sachin Tendulkar, Virat Kohli, Don Bradman, and now Cyrus Brocha. Okay, probably not in the right company. I mean, Don Bradman is Australian. But it's called Cyrus Says, a wonderful show about everything. Find the show on the IVM Podcast app, ivmpodcast.com, or wherever you listen to podcasts.